Hello again, and welcome back to Illegally Cited. This is Jesse, aka BGFH, and I am back for another bonus video for you guys. And if you are blind or low vision, if you have any interest in virtual reality, you're probably going to want to watch this video. You're really going to want to watch this video. I'm going to be fair, I'm going to leave the link to the article that we're looking at, the article and embedded video. I'm going to put that in the description of my video, but I'm recording this on a Friday, and I could save this for a Saturday's regular video, but this is just way too cool. This is going to be a bonus video. I just wanted to get this out there because I was looking through my Twitter feed, and somebody had mentioned me and brought my attention to this article and said, video, check this out. So there is this project that people are working on through Microsoft. Again, look at this. Microsoft is just killing it in regards to accessibility. We've got, magnifier fixes. We got some nice new low vision things coming into the May update of Windows 10 with the mouses and colors and such. Of course, Xbox and narrator and seeing AI. We're getting some narration in game menus. They're just everywhere. They're just doing awesome stuff. So again, kudos to the guys at Microsoft. I'm glad I got to meet some of the folks that I've been mentioning and conversing with on Twitter. I don't want to say specific names because I don't want to leave anybody out. But it was great meeting everybody, and GAConf, yeah, my phone's going to go crazy because of Twitter notifications. Anywho, so the purpose of this video is I watched a video on my phone, but I want to see this sucker on a nice big screen, and I kind of want to do a commentary on it, sort of the way I did the Oculus video and a couple of other just a couple of other announcements like I've done in the past. I did the one for the Oculus Accessibility keynote event, and I did I know I did one other one too, and I can't remember what it was. But, so Microsoft, they've made this Unity toolkit thing that, if I understand correctly, like it's something like separately added on that you can. I guess I would think of it like you would launch a screen reader or magnifier. So like if you wanted to use your computer and you needed JAWS or you needed NVDA or narrator or Zoom text or magnifier. It seems like this is something where you don't even have to, a game developer doesn't necessarily have to add anything to their title, and you'll get some extra functionality for low vision users. But if a developer does add some labels and extra things into their Unity title, right now this is a Unity thing, and based on how cool this is, I really want it to come to everything. Come to Unreal, come to CryEngine, those are the main three, I think. Frostbite, there's all kinds of trouble with that, with EA and their nonsense right now. But yeah, this, and not just not just game engines. This is the functionality. Remember when I keep talking about all my concerns about the VR headsets, and especially the upcoming standalone headsets like the Oculus Quest. And it's like, well, you don't have a way to fall back on a monitor. You're not mirroring it to a monitor, so you don't even have a chance to either record a video and look at it later, or lift up your headset and try to look at a monitor to try to read something. If you can't read something within that standalone headset, as a low vision user, you're sunk. But let's start watching this video, because trust me, you're gonna like this. I saw this, I've been thinking about it. I've been tweeting about it, and I'm just pumped right now because I really, really want this to happen, and I want it to go beyond Unity and even if it was something where other, Oculus, Valve, Sony, if you guys look at this and implement similar, at least similar functionality into your dashboards, this would be immensely helpful. Let's check this out. We got a video here.
VR, a set of tools to make virtual reality more accessible to people with low vision. Current VR technology is vision dominant, and most VR scenes are designed by only considering the visual abilities of fully sighted users.
Amen.
217 million people worldwide.
Now they're doing, I like how they're doing the simulations of like, oh, yeah, here's some blurry vision. We've got some scotomas here, some blind spots.
Have low vision, moderate to severe visual impairments that fall short of complete blindness, but that cannot be corrected fully by glasses.
So when I look at a VR headset, it doesn't look this blurry, but I still can't make out but this is a nice example because I can see that there's a menu there, but I can't, it's not as blurry, but I can't read what the text is.
Virtual reality is often not accessible for people with low vision.
It can be difficult.
We designed Seeing VR, a set of 14 low vision tools that can be applied to a VR application as an overlay in runtime and enhance its scenes by providing both visual and audio augmentations. With Seeing VR, a user can select, adjust, and combine different tools to augment the VR scenes according to their preferences.
I think that's Space Pirate Trainer, if I'm not mistaken, and I see they mentioned later on in the video that they are using the top 10 Unity games they tested with them, and they all work with this tool, and Beat Saber was one of them. I think this is Space Pirate Trainer, which is just a badass game in general. Both of them are. Let's keep going.
We implemented 9 of these tools as an extension that plugs into available VR
sure what game
applications
this is.
without requiring any changes from the producer or developer. We also implemented 5 additional tools for VR developers to integrate low vision support into the design process of their
This is
applications.
so cool.
We begin by demonstrating the tools for existing apps and then show the tools for empowering developers. Our magnification lens simulates the effect of a magnifier attached to the center of the user's visual field to help users see details or things that are far away.
So this basically, it's almost like they've taken something like you would have with the Iris Vision or similar type of Gear VR headset, where you're using your phone as a CCTV, but they're taking that magnifying lens type of thing and letting you zoom in and out on anything in a VR interface. Oh, it gets better. Trust me.
Users can adjust the magnification level based on their needs. To reduce the dramatic change that a magnifier brings, we designed a bifocal lens by adding a small rectangular-shaped magnifier at the bottom of the user's visual field. While looking at the magnifier part to see details, the user can still see the original virtual scene by looking through other areas of their visual field. The user can adjust the position of the bifocal lens.
I'm not sure, again, that they've had sort of something like that, again, in the Iris Vision, where you had this kind of bifocal thing where you have a magnifying lens in the top part, and then you have the regular image. Some people might find that helpful. I think for myself, I think I would find that distracting. There might be times where it could be useful, though. If I could monitor a certain portion, some sort of, if I could monitor where my objective thing or my health or ammo or something that's constantly kind of changing, and I could look at that and then still have my overall view, it might be helpful.
Since people with low vision have different light sensitivities, we provide a brightness lens, allowing the user to adjust the brightness of the scene. For people with low contrast sensitivity,
now the brightness thing, that could occasionally be handy, especially in some of those titles where everything is just such bright white. If you have a white background, and just be able to darken that up, or there's been a couple of dark areas too, so again, that could be that would be something I would potentially use.
We provide a contrast lens to help increase the contrast of VR scenes. This is edge enhancement. We add edges to the whole virtual scene based on the depth and surface normal change. With this tool, a user with low vision can better distinguish different objects in a low contrast scene.
That could be, I don't know, like, I think they mentioned something later on where if a developer adds, like, basically key items in their environment, if they add labels, you can kind of highlight them that way. So, kind of, again, think about like Left 4 Dead, where your character silhouettes or your health packs or your weapons and things, like interactable items, if you're in this detail, honestly, the more highly detailed an environment is, the harder it can be to see key things in that environment. I've encountered that in many, many titles where I've overlooked something, either a switch or a consumable item, some health that I needed or something. Even on when I'm playing the Elder Scrolls Blades, even with the shimmer, sometimes I overlook something. I'll go back and go, oh, how did I miss that? So having this would be very helpful in some cases.
Users can adjust the color of the edges based on the color of the original scene and their preference. Peripheral remapping is designed for people with peripheral vision loss. We overlay the contours of a minified view of a wide field over the center of the user's original vision.
That's neat.
Providing information that was formerly in their peripheral vision.
Yeah, so people who have peripheral vision loss, you're still, basically they're compacting that wider view into the field that they can see. I have really pretty good right side peripheral vision, but my left side, I do have a blind spot, and that's why, like, when you notice that when I play VR games, you can kind of see that I'm looking more to my left, is because I'm compensating for, I can't see as well to my left because I lack the peripheral vision. So I kind of look that way, and that's why the videos look a little bit off-center when I'm recording VR content. And I wonder if something like this, like maybe it's not something quite so extreme, but if there would be a way to have something where like I could say, oh, my left peripheral vision is bad, and so could I compensate somehow by like kind of pushing the image more, like almost like recalibrating the view to be like, oh, maybe make this a little bit off kilter to the left to compensate for somebody who has partial peripheral vision loss.
The user can adjust the color and position of the overlay based on their needs.
That's cool.
When text in a virtual scene has low contrast with the background, our text augmentation tool automatically changes the text color to be the inverted color of the background.
Look at that. I mean, and again, remember, you don't have to use these individually. Think about all these tools that they're mentioning. So I could not only make the text stand out like this, I can make it stand out. I can make it, high contrast versus whatever background. And I can bold it. And I can use that magnifier that they talked about in the beginning. Holy crap, man. Oh, I want this yesterday. I need to play with this.
The user can also decide whether to make the text bold and how much to increase the font size.
Look at that.
When visual augmentation is not sufficient, our text-to-speech tool provides audio augmentation.
Okay, now watch this. It's not just like, okay, how are we going to, we're in a VR interface. How are we going to tell it what we want to read? This is beautiful.
With this tool, the user can use a laser attached to the controller to point to a piece of text in the scene, and our tool can automatically read it aloud.
Yes.
Introduction. You are stuck in the Gravender common room and you will have 5 minutes to solve your puzzles and leave.
It's like your screen reader when you use the mouse hover feature to just hover over your paragraph or item of interest. I would use the hell out of this in every application. Menus, stat screens. Remember, I keep talking about even if it's the main menus are good. Tutorials, stat screens, skill trees, weapon, inventories. Man, yeah. That honestly, like I would use the large print stuff, but if that would just work, I could point and it would like OCR any text I point at. Hot diggity damn, man. Yeah, I need this.
The next tool is depth measurement. Many people with low vision have difficulty with depth perception, which can make it hard for them to pick up a virtual object in a VR scene. Our depth tool attaches a laser to the controller. When the laser hits an object, a ball will appear at the intersection point. The user can have a sense of distance by looking at the length of the laser between the ball and the controller.
Now, that actually, I don't necessarily sometimes have a problem picking up things by distance, but what I do have a problem with, and I wonder if this would help with it, is maybe you would use this in combination with those edge outlines or something. You're manipulating something in 3D space and you're trying to connect two items together. You're trying to piece together a machine or, fit two pieces of some objects together. Like in Job Simulator, when let's say I'm cooking and I build a sandwich, I put the bread is there and then I hover the meat over the piece of bread. And then it has that little yellow glow to say, oh, by the way, you're locked in. If you let go, it's going to snap in and connect. For titles that don't necessarily have that nicety, I wonder if some combination of these features would make manipulating objects in 3D, not just picking them up, but actually interacting with them together. If that's something that could be expanded on too.
The color of this tool is adjustable to account for the background color and the user's preference.
Yeah, wow.
The 9 tools we just described can all be applied post hoc to a VR application in runtime. We also designed some additional tools that can further enhance a VR application by leveraging developer input. Our object description tool is similar to the way alt text works with a screen reader on a 2D display. If a developer adds descriptions to objects in the VR scene, our tool can read aloud the description if a user points to a labeled object.
That is cool. So if a developer does bother to add essentially alt text, and here's where what I think would really aid this in becoming standard is these guys need to talk to Unity. They need to talk to Unreal, because this has to go beyond Unity. But basically, if they talk to the game, the engine developer, and just like how web design software, or like I know a lot of I think like you can have Office if you're inserting an image into a document, or I think Dreamweaver had a thing where every time you entered in anytime you inserted a picture into a web page that you were building, it would automatically prompt you for alt tags, for alt text. So you add a description to that image that you're inserting. And if Unity and other game engines added such a requirement, so, you inserted an object, automatically say, hey, give it a label. What is it? That way you're not putting so much on individual developers. If the engine developer adds that as their code base and say, okay, we're going to prompt you when you enter a new object into the environment, we're going to prompt you for a label, for a text label, then that is something that this plugin would automatically be able to detect. And so any game or experience or app that is being built into virtual reality, because the engine is automatically prompting developers, it's not something that developers would actually have to think a lot about. So there's really great potential here.
If the developer can label the important objects in a VR scene, our highlight tool can add contours around these objects to attract the user's attention.
Very
We
cool.
designed the guideline tool to orient the user's attention by using a line to connect the center of an important object, as designated by the developer, and the center of the user's field of view. If the object is out of the user's visual field, the user can follow the line to locate the object. If the
Wow.
developer can label the hierarchy of the objects in the scene, our recoloring tool can recolor the whole scene, making sure that every two objects close to each other in the user's
A high contrast predator view. But no, like if there's some scene where it's just, again, too, you're looking at a military shooter, or you're looking at something that you're in everything just blends in together. You got a brown, a gray and brown environment, and, gray and brown items, or just, whatever. Just adding those silhouettes or adding the color contrast things could help a lot of people.
visual field are painted in different colors. This tool segments close objects from each other and also simplifies the whole scene by replacing complex textures. We also consider how assistive smartphone apps might be translated from the real world to the virtual world.
This is where I got really excited. You thought, I told you in the beginning it gets better. When I saw this, yes, please, just watch.
To further augment a user's experience. We demonstrated the feasibility of this concept by mimicking the popular assistive apps Seeing AI and VizWiz as
Yes.
Seeing VR tools. When a user triggers the Seeing AI tool, we mimic the functionality of this computer vision application by using the Microsoft Cognitive Services API to recognize objects in a screen capture of the current virtual scene and announce them aloud to the user.
Recognizing. The image may include a close-up of a light.
When a user triggers the VizWiz tool, they speak aloud a question they have about the current virtual scene.
What is in the image?
Sending to human service.
And a screen capture of the current scene plus the recorded question is sent to a human being who composes an answer and sends it back to our system, which then reads the response aloud.
A book and a pillow on the table.
You know how many times that would be super helpful, like in cases where, like, there's something there and I can't tell what it is, or like there's, I'm trying to solve a puzzle. I mean, a lot of the things would be, for me, would be like I'm looking at a settings interface. I mean, so I wouldn't necessarily need this this functionality for that if I'm able to use the magnifying lens and the text-to-speech pointer thing that they talked about earlier. But there may be times, where like just getting someone's quick input and say, you can ask a specific question like, what the heck is going on here? Insanely cool.
To allow developers to provide input that can enhance the performance of the Seeing VR tools, we designed a Unity toolkit that provides access to all the low vision tools, as well as extending the game object in Unity by adding 3 accessibility fields. The fields are description, used to describe an object, is salient, that labels whether the object is important, and is whole object, that provides semantic information on the object hierarchy of a scene, indicating whether the current level and its children belong to a single object. We evaluated the design of Seeing VR with 11 participants with low vision in 3 virtual tasks, including navigating a menu,
That menu
searching
looks
for an
so
object,
good.
and shooting a moving target. All participants
Now they said shooting a moving target. I wonder, they didn't mention anything specifically about, the one thing that I'm sort of curious about is, I love first-person shooters, as you will know if you watch my channel. However, in VR, they're very, very difficult because they typically expect you to aim down the sights of the weapon, and you're actually looking at 3D depth, 3D distance. I don't know if there's some kind of a combination. There's that thing where they said they have those lines that point out objects, and so, whether it's in or outside of your view. It was a couple minutes ago. But I'm wondering if there's some sort of thing to always have to enable your pointer to always be a bright thing. So even if I'm holding a weapon, it will shoot, or there will always be a bright beam, and maybe you could customize the color of that beam. You know, if you're in a night level, yeah, a yellow beam might be really good, a yellow or a white beam. But if I'm in a daytime level and I'm going through and shooting things, you know, maybe I want it to be a darker. I need to change the color of the beam to something that really stands out against the daytime textures. And I suppose, you know, I mean, yeah, you wouldn't get the effect of the real textures, but you could do the high contrast thing. You combine that with always allowing a beam, a pointing beam. That's something that they maybe could add probably pretty easily, is just to say, have the functionality to turn on and off like your laser pointer beam, essentially. Make it thick, make it customizable colors. And then I would know, you know, I could kind of use that like I would on a flat screen. You know, flat screen shooters always have crosshairs or some other sort of indicator, so it's easy to line up where you are shooting. And yeah, if that kind of thing, God, you know how many shooters, just like gallery shooters or shooting galleries kind of things are in VR that I just can't play. That could make tons more first person shooter games potentially more accessible. So that would be, you know, if it's not already in here and if it's not a combination of something that they already were discussing, that would be another thing that would be extremely helpful, because aiming at distance like I would love to play more super hot VR, but it's very hard unless the guys are right in front of me and I can kind of just wing it and, you know, shoot from the hip or sort of aim. It's really kind of tough to aim at guys at a far distance, so I haven't been able to get very far in that title, despite, you know, beating the original flat screen version of the game and loving every minute of it. So they mentioned shooting specifically, and that's just something that I wanted to bring up, because I don't think they brought up like the aiming laser pointer thing, the beam specifically, as something you can always turn on and off or customize.
Students completed the tasks more quickly and accurately using our tools. We also evaluated the usability of the Unity toolkit with 6 Unity developers, and all the developers believed our toolkit was easy and convenient to use. We tested our low vision tools on the top 10 most popular Unity VR applications and found that our tools can successfully modify all the applications
What is that game?
post
I know
hoc.
that game. What is it? Beat Saber!
Solo.
Woo!
Party.
And the text-to-speech, look at that. The Beat Saber menu is reading aloud with the pointer thing. How freaking cool is that? That is exactly what I want. I can just point at menus and options and stuff. I mean, flat screen games are just starting to do this. This is, like I said, this is insanely cool.
Our low vision VR tools represent an important step in considering how to make virtual reality accessible to a wider audience.
Yes, okay, yeah. Okay, that was it. So, that is their article. That is their overview of this amazing Seeing VR toolkit. I guess they're going to be presenting a paper on it and pretty soon, and they're going to be, I don't know when this is going to be rolling out so that just any developer can start taking a look at it. I don't exactly know, like I know that it's something that you can run on top of things, so I'm just wondering how this works as an end user. Like, again, before I go into a VR app, do I just start this Seeing VR, choose the things that I want to do, and then launch my VR application or game? I'm just curious kind of how the whole process of using it works as a end user. But honestly, this toolkit and all of the things that they've already implemented solves the vast majority of all my complaints and concerns and frustrations that I've had trying to use virtual reality interfaces, head tracking, the text and interface items being a set distance from your face, and you can't get closer because it keeps moving away. Things being far away, things blending in, contrast, just any number of things. I mean, this addresses so many issues, and I love, again, the idea of the magnifier, the high contrast, the text-to-speech, some of the outlines and colors things. Again, I think being able to also always enable or disable the kind of laser pointer thing on the fly and be able to customize it. Like, oh, well, I'm in a light level, so I need it to be a dark color. Oh, I'm in a dark level, and so I need it to be a bright white or yellow. But yeah, just to be able to make that aiming easier. Kind of like when I was talking in the VR presentation that I did for ID24, I had mentioned that little glowy, it was meant to be a teleport beam, but having that beam in Bullet Train, where I was actually using the teleport beam as a laser sight, just so I knew what the heck I was trying to aim at. So, like I said, this is kind of the breakthrough that I've been hoping for, that I've been dreaming for, that I've been dreaming about. And I really didn't know or think it would happen because, like I said, I've contacted I've contacted Oculus a few different ways, several different times, and really haven't heard zip other than to say, well, we'll pass your information on, which basically means, whatever. I don't expect that really meant anything. Maybe it did, maybe it didn't, but those kind of generic responses just don't really mean much to me because when I get those, it means I'm being blown off. Okay, well, we'll pass it on. We'll see. And I love the fact that this is for Unity, and Unity is a super popular, just game tool in general and VR tool in general. And I wonder what the time frame is. Like, I hope this isn't just restricted to Unity. I don't know how complicated this kind of functionality would be to also, even if it was the main two, even if it was Unreal Engine and Unity, if it would support those two, it would support the vast majority of games and games and experiences being developed now. I mean, I know not everybody does, but the vast majority of them seem to use either one of those engines. But more importantly, I don't know if these guys can work out some sort of a deal with, a licensing thing with Oculus, with Sony, with Valve. Because, like I said, as these headsets are becoming standalone, I mean, this is what people wanted. You don't want to be wired. You don't want to be tethered to a computer necessarily. But again, if you were blind or if you were low vision like I am, a lot of, my browsing the store, my installing, my uninstalling a game, my launching a game, all that is done on my computer, and the only time I use the headset in itself is when I'm actually in the experience. Everything else has to be done on my desktop monitor because the overall dashboard interface is, frankly, kind of hot garbage. There's small text, I can't read it. And so having this type of functionality embedded into the Oculus dashboard, Oculus Home, or the Valve Steam VR, or whatever they call Sony's, their PlayStation VR interface. This just proves that, this absolutely proves that it can be done. I mean, this video alone makes it so that like we're farther along right now than I ever thought we would be. You know, I thought, well, maybe we'll get some, font options, or maybe we'll get some text to speech. I don't know, years from now. But this plugin, even integrating with things like Seeing AI and VizWiz. What? I didn't expect that. I mean, how cool is that? It's like, if all else fails, ask a question to a sighted person and have them help you out for a second. Yeah, this is, it's just really cool. And this is why I wanted to record this bonus video today. Just because of how potentially huge this could be for blind and low vision users interested in checking out virtual reality of some kind. Like I said, again, I know we really need to get it on these dashboards so that the overall interfaces can work. But I am absolutely going to try to be following this development closely, and if I ever get a chance to get my hands on it, rest assured I will do my best to try and cover it for you guys, because this is very, very cool. And finally, to wrap up the video, like I said, I know that we're getting a few different headsets coming out in the near future. There's some mixed reality headsets. There's the Oculus Quest, the Oculus Rift S. There is the, what is it? The Index, Valve's or HTC's VR headset. All these are supposed to be coming out around May or June. And I'm really especially interested in the standalone headsets where I could go take it somewhere and I could easily show it to people. I'm untethered to my computer. But again, as much as I really want to pre-order, as much as I really want to try one of these things, I'm likely not going to, because I have a feeling I'm going to be immediately stuck and not be able to navigate the interface. So if anybody knows, if you are a developer or if you are from Oculus or something, if anyone knows of a way or knows, would be able to hook up with me, and I would very much be interested in at least borrowing or getting an Oculus Quest, because I really, really want to evaluate a standalone headset from a accessibility perspective, an accessibility user's perspective from a low vision user. If anyone is able to provide me with a Oculus Quest or loan one to me or something like that, so I can find out if it's even a viable option for a low vision user to try, definitely connect with me on Twitter or the YouTube comment in this video, or again, just check the About page on the Illegally Sighted channel. I do have all my information there. It is updated. I'm not trying to just ask for things for free, but like I said, it's just $400. I don't want to spend $400 on something that is unusable for me. If I knew that it was going to work, I'd have it pre-ordered already. Because I love the idea. I love the potential, but I have so many low vision concerns that I really would love to be able to get my hands on one. So if anyone has the means to make that happen, I would definitely be grateful. I would definitely share some thoughts and things with everybody on my YouTube channel. But yeah, so if you're able to, anyone's able to help out with that, please let me know. I would love to help out. I'd love to check it out. With that, I'm going to wrap up this video, and hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I did. Like I said, this article, this video was Very descriptive, very amazing, loads of potential. I mean, what else more can I say? Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Follow me on Twitter at BGFH79. You can follow me on Mixer, mixer.com/BGFH. You can also go to illegally-cited.com for all things and all my projects. And until next time, hope you guys enjoyed it. Share this with friends or anyone you might think may find it helpful. And until next time, I'll chat with you guys again later.